Good evening, everybody. It's Shelley Johns here from Gympie. I'm a Herbalife supervisor. I've been with the company for 28 years and I've lost over 20 kilos in 3 dress sizes. And I absolutely love the products and I love helping people achieve results on the products and helping people earn income as well. In fact, it's quite satisfying helping someone build their business too and seeing them grow and prosper. So tonight's call's all about the marketing plan, particularly on all the different ways of going supervisor, because there's quite a few and there's some really exciting ways too. But we thought we'd kick off the call with a quote from Mark Hughes. So basically, if you want to compete with someone, compete with yourself. That's your best competition. So, and try and be the best you possibly can be every day. So just get that little bit better every single day. So that's a really good quote to start on. So let's see if I can get this right. I did it. So first we're going to start with our good news, because there's always something good to share. And you're right, we've all got voices of value, and I think it's good if we can share something that might just help someone get through a tough time or over a hurdle and help them move forward too. So Rosemary, would you like to share your good news?
Yes, of course I will. This week I started up a young lass she wanted a shake only. She is in the weight loss challenge, and apparently when I did the wellness evaluation for her, she had used 3 other different shakes, so 3 different types, and I said fine. And then I really encouraged her to get on the multivit well, which she went along with. The follow-up, I tell you, is so important, because day 1 fine, by day 3 she had different with the retracing, and I just persevered with her and encouraged her to keep going. I did send her some information, and yeah, by day 4 or 5 I kept checking up on her every day, and she's fine, absolutely. So excited about the energy, which I think is fantastic. So that's just on 2 products. So, but another client as well, got her on several things. She'd been on it for several years, I think, in the Philippines, but has got back on several products, which is lovely as well. So, and for me, I continue to just try and stay extremely healthy, with all the products as well. So I just love everyone.
Excellent. Thank you, Rosemary. You definitely set an amazing example. So, and I think a lot of people can learn from that as well. We've got so many people with experience on the products, and like most people in this call have been on the products for a considerable amount of time, and we're setting the best example for our clients and our team and for the whole organisation, really. So thank you for sharing, Rosemary. Lindy, would you like to share your good news? I know you've got some really cool stuff to share.
I do actually, yeah, I've got a few. But the first one is obviously Ben's result. Last week and it's going to be very gradual with him. So I'm still putting the aloe in his water, and he's having the shake in the afternoon. And he sort of knows, here she comes. But now he's sort of, if I don't come out at a certain time, he's standing there holding his cup. So he's wanting it, which is really nice for him. So in 12 days, Ben's lost nearly 1 kilo, and he's lost 1 centimetre around his chest. And this week he lost 11 centimetres around his tummy, which is brilliant. So he's sitting, it's very hard to weigh him sometimes, but he's sitting at like an extra large with his clothes. So the goal is to get him to medium or large. And of course, when that changes, then his medication will probably change with that as well too. So that's really nice. That's good. And the funny thing was today, Joshy's the one I have to sort of sit back a bit with the products, because he'll have his shake, but he'll just want to keep going. And I had stuff in the fridge, made it for Ben in the afternoon, and then Joshy was walking around holding it. He had 3 shakes this afternoon. So I went, it's just made with water. It's fine. So so I'm really pleased with that. And he's so, for someone, it's a bit hard to explain, but for someone who's non-verbal, he's now making a lot of different sounds, and he's looking at you really intently. So I can't wait to see what it's going to be like at the end of it. The other one is I decided that I need to give back to the community a bit more, and was trying to work out what to do. So I've joined the Neighbourhood Watch Committee, And one of the ladies, her daughter suffers from depression and anxiety, so she's coming around soon to have a little bit of a chat, which will be nice. And also needs to lose weight was a big part of it. Excuse me. And then just going down to the local church, there's been this poor, I wouldn't say poor, but this young Malaysian fellow sits at the back and very quiet, and he's he's just looking for a career change, I suppose, in a nutshell. So I'll be chatting to him this weekend and having a little bit more. But he was very interested. He took pamphlets, and friends in Malaysia do it. So he knows of Herbalife and he's very excited. So looking forward to following up on that. So I've been a bit busy, which is nice.
That's good. That's excellent. So I can't wait to get the updated results. So that's fantastic. And you've been amazing being so persistent as well. This pays off, absolutely.
Absolutely. You just got to keep pushing through, and each time you think maybe not, then you just have to keep at it. So, and even in the cold weather at 1 degree, I'm still getting out and walking. I have to warm up.
That's excellent. Well done, Lindy.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Jan, would you like to share your good news?
Congratulations, Lindy. Look, I take my hat off to you. I mean, what you cope with is absolutely amazing. It really is. So well done. Absolutely. For me, not a lot's been happening, but I did have a guy get reconnected again after about 15 years. So he's back on the products, way back in West Ryde days. And that's a long time. An Indian guy, his name's got out of my head for the minute, unusual name. But yeah, so he's back on the products and things, so that was really good. And of course, the week before, I had Thea, she got re-registered again as well. So people do come back.
You must have made quite an impression for 15 years later for him to come back, or kept your card somewhere special.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Oh, yeah, and people will often gravitate back too. It's interesting how that does happen. Yeah, they always come back to what they know works.
Yes.
So, yes, so always be open to people coming back. Thank you for sharing, Jan. That's fantastic. Irene, what's your good news?
Well, actually, going on from Jan, it was really interesting because she would know Andrea Lister, and she said, "I'm just ordering for myself," and lo and behold, another order came through, and it was going up here to Mumbai. So skincare and products, and that was interesting. And one of my clients that was in Australia, that is back in Germany, she's Sri Lankan, actually, married to a German, and she ordered Vishaka, and that was a surprise because she hadn't been ordering for a little while. And as you say, they come back if you treat them with dignity and you treat them with respect, and you care for them. I think that's really the key. And then Sharon, who is, as you know, moved and having fun and games with her computer. I go down on Wednesday to see her, and she's lost now 32 kilos, and she is so excited. She can see her. She was 126 kilos when she started. She's but I said to her, "Are you sure it wasn't 123?" But we leave it at that, and whichever you want to deduct. And she's now 90, and she can see herself going down to the early 80s. And it's so important for her because she has been on many medications, and as she reduces her weight, she's able to reduce her medication, like with you boys, Lindy. And so it's not always just about weight loss. It's also about not having so many drugs going into your body with negative side effects, so your body can deal better with everything. So, and there was two others, and I can't remember now who they were, that came to her, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. So it's lovely to see people come back, not because of you, but because of them, because what the products can do for them. And it's like your children coming home. And that's how I see it anyway, They always come back to Mama, I guess, in the end. That's how I see it. And I was very, very pleased. And I'm looking forward to catching up with Andrea. She'll be up here tomorrow. So
thank you very much, Irene. That's lovely. So, Ross, did you have some good news to share?
So if you look at it in the last week, I love how the products change people's lives and our clients start to get healthier, start to lose weight and feel better about themselves. But where I probably light up the most, what Shelley sees, is the fact that in the last week or so, there's certain clients that we've sat down and talked to that then start to see, hang on a minute, there's a bigger picture here. I can change my life here. And we had a client the other week that says, I'm not really satisfied with my job, and since I can see there's a bigger picture here, it's very obvious how actually I'm totally dissatisfied with what I'm doing and is looking to move forward. And I love the look in their eyes when they go, oh, I didn't think it was possible. And when they start to see what is potentially possible, as what this call will bring in later, I love seeing that in the client's eyes and what I've seen in the last week. Absolutely.
Cool. So you're obviously talking about Cara.
Yes.
So Cara did her senior consultant order last week. And she got her mum started, got reordered some products for herself, and you would have met her at the Let's Go event. She's been to 2 now, which is great, and she got recognition for becoming a member, and now she'll get recognised of the senior consultant and hopefully come to her first SDS next month, because she's not able to make it this month, but that's okay, because I still want her to find that family balance around her little girls and with hubby who's quite supportive, and
shift worker, so
yeah, it's all those sort of things that she's doing. Yes, so she's actually got her mum on the products, and then she also this morning we met up with her after Fit Club at the centre, and she got someone that she knows on the products as well. I think she's 65, Francesca, and she she started on basically an ultimate program, which is great. So, and I was really excited because Cara was interesting what she said. She said, the more I come around all the Herbalife stuff, the more dissatisfied I am in my job. So I just thought that was very interesting. And yeah, so basically in that hour, she made $175 profit. So now she can cover her products, and hubby's talking to other people as well. She was meeting up with someone at 3:30 to have a chat to him about Herbalife as well. So we just gave her a few pointers because that was just coffee at their house around their kids. And she's been coming to Fit Club. She's getting great results. She's looking great. She's getting that glow. So we're really excited to help her start moving forward. So my goal is to help her get to that about 1,000 bone points or more for her this month, and get her moving towards that supervisor as fast as she can. So that was really exciting to have that. And we've got a new client at Narangba, school teacher, and she started on a healthy breakfast pack with an extra shake, so it lasts the whole month. And so she's obviously got a great centre of influence, and she's already talking about her partner that needs to gain muscle and gain weight. So her day one was today, so that's really cool. And with Cara, I'm actually going to do a 3-way call tomorrow night, and Fran and Cara and myself will all be on a 3-way call, and so Cara can listen to me do the day one follow-up for Fran, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So so that's the good news. There's lots and lots of great things happening. So thank you everyone for sharing. So let's get on with the call. So I hope it still works. Yes. Okay, so basically our job as a Herbalife member, because that's what we are, Herbalife Nutrition member, is to use the nutrition range to get our level 10 results. So that's the best result that we can for us, to feel the difference, to have that belief and that emotional attachment, and then learn how to package our product and income stories. And a lot of people are very good at packaging their product story, but sometimes they forget their income story because they think, I'm not earning enough, I'm not on $10,000 a month. But sometimes it's that power of the part-time story that Jim Rohn talks about. Could be what you earned yesterday or last week or in the last 30 days, and use those sort of ones. You're just using those facts. Hey, I'm doing the business part-time around my family, around this, around that. And just today I made, so as I said to Cara, now you have an income story. Today in an hour I made $175. I said, how many hours in your job would you have to work to earn that? And so she's already thinking about how many programs to get people on to replace her job income, which is really cool. So that's it. So make sure you practice your income stories and your product stories. We will do a call on that so that we can practice and help people refine that. I know I've done that with Lindy before, and that was quite effective. Develop 3 to 5 or more brand new clients every month. So you've got to work out how many customers you want each month. Some people like having more, which is great. Developing that 2 to 4 or more members on their supervisor qualification plan each month. And because remember, it's not just supervisor accumulation, it's really their qualification, because they might want to do it in 1 month or 2 months or over 12 months, and whichever way they want to do it is perfectly fine. But you've got to let them know, give them all the options, and then let them decide. Don't make up their minds for them. maintain and retain your clients and members with the good follow-up, which Rosemary was talking about. And as you can see with Jan and Irene, they've got people coming back, and it's because of the follow-up. People will always come back.
Yeah.
And getting them into the support system, Facebook groups or whatever you can, emails and things like that, phone calls, texts, getting them into different support systems that you might have in your area or wherever they may live, so that they are continually inspired and supported. And then you're constantly exposing your clients and your members to the Herbalife opportunity. So it's great. Anything you do is to make sure you have a Herbalife opportunity meeting, so they can hear the stories, and then you plug them into the training. So that's basically our job, and in a nutshell. So if you can write that down or take a screenshot. So that's a really good thing to focus on each day and each week. Did you have anything else?
No, that's pretty well what we do.
So did you have anything to add, Jan?
No, that's very good.
Okay. So becoming a supervisor. These are basically an overview of all the different ways. Thank you. You can. Yeah. I don't know why it does that. So basically, to become a supervisor, we're accumulating 4,000 volume points, and we can do it in 1 month. We can do it over 2 months. We can do it in 3 to 12 months, or we can do it in a team buddy system. And all of these ways are perfectly fine to do. So we're just going to cover them all. So the first one is how to accumulate it. So this is one of the newer ways that's come up, and a lot of clients like doing this, or someone maybe that just wants to do it part-time. And you can basically accumulate your 4,000 volume points between 3 months right up to that 12 month, and it's a running 12 months. So it can start at any month, and it can be any time as well. The person could be in the business for 5 years as a member, and then decide to do this over 12 months. So it doesn't matter when they do it, just so you know. Did you want to cover it, or do you want me to?
No, you keep on. I'll jump in my turn.
Okay, so these are some examples. Now, could someone take longer to do this? Could they do it over 12 months? I'm just giving up to about a 6, so 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 5 months, but if someone needed to take longer, is that okay? Yes, it is okay. So the first one is that they do 1,000 volume points in February. So they could do that order by order, adding up to the 1,000, which is what Kara's doing. Or they could do it a 1,000 volume point order at 42% as a success builder order. They could do it that way too. Then in March, they're doing 1,500 volume points. So we know that once they get to 2,500 volume points, they're a qualified producer. So basically by the end of March, they'd be at permanent 42%. And then they're doing the rest of the qualification to get to the 4,000. In fact, they've done more than 4,000, have they? No, I can't count.
Yes.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. So they've done, basically over those 3 months, they've done 4,000. They would have been at 42% right through April. So it's a really good place to be. And then basically on the 1st of May, they'd be a fully qualified supervisor at 50%, even though the system does tend to upgrade it a bit faster now. But in the old days, we'd have to put paperwork through, and it would just take that little bit of time for it to come through. But sometimes when they're doing like a senior consultant order, a success builder, or sometimes on the system, it doesn't show up straight away. So just make sure they're patient, that it might happen over a couple of days, and that's okay. So example 2 is they do their 500 volume points. So they might do 500 volume points in one order, which means they get that whole thing at 35%, or it might be order by order for that month. But basically by the end of February, on example 2, they would be at permanent 35%. Then in March, they do 1,000. So they might have done a success builder order at 42%, or they might have done order by order, which is fine too. So they've done 1,500 volume points by the end of March. And then in April, they do 1,500 volume points. So that could be a success builder order. That could be, again, just order by order, which is perfectly fine. But as you can see, by the end of April, they've got at least 2,500 volume points accumulated. So they'd be at permanent 42% by then. And then they're finishing off their 1,000 volume points in May. So by the 1st of June, they'd be a fully qualified supervisor. So example number 3 is I do 500 volume points in February. Again, that could be a senior consultant order, all at 35%, or order by order, 1,500. And I'm just showing you that just because they don't do anything April, it doesn't matter, because it's accumulated over 3 to 12 months. So they could even have a couple of zeros in there, and it's perfectly okay. As long as over that time it gets to the 4,000 volume points in total, they will become a fully qualified supervisor. And then in the last one, it just shows 500 500, 1,000 and 2,000. But remember, they might do that over 6 months or 8 months or even 12 months. I know that Tamara and Helen did that. Tamara did basically supervisor over the whole 12 months, and we worked out how much it was to do it in that final month, and then fully qualified supervisor. So just keep in mind too, can you click the thingy? Keep in mind that you can actually use up to 2,000 volume points of your downline, of the people underneath you that aren't supervisors. So if you did 2,000 volume points, and then your team, this is what happened with Tamara and Helen. Helen did 2,000 and so did Tamara. So between it was 4,000, and Tamara was able to become a supervisor, which is fantastic. Okay, so they're just some of the things to think about. But most people do it probably in that 3 to 6 months on average. Okay, but you want to give people all the different ways. So that's number 1, accumulated. So next one. Okay, so this is an example of someone doing it over 3 months. So I can see Cara definitely doing this month, is to help her to at least get to 1,000 volume points or more this month, which is really going to give her supervisor qualification a boost. So if you can click through. So first month is you want to order enough product to use yourself, plus enough to have up to 5 clients. Okay, so you can do 1,000 volume points at 42%, or you can do it order by order. It's okay, it's entirely up to you. You probably want to do maybe a shake party or a business launch, or have a group of friends over to sample the products. You could call it a nutrition party if you wanted to. And you want to put that 90-day plan into action. So your first month of your 90-day plan is called your setup stage. And this is sometimes when you feel like you're putting in the most effort and not always getting a lot back to start with. So you've got to be patient, and anyone new, you've got to help them have a really good discipline and consistency and belief, have their goals clear so that you can get them through that first 30 days. You know, you want them to get that momentum building. So second month, so this is what's going to happen. You need to order, so they're going to do 1,500 volume points because their business is growing each month. So they'll do enough orders for their own use, plus their 5 clients that need to reorder, and their 5 brand new clients. Okay, so they've got to think about, of course, someone that's getting good results wants to reorder. So they're going to accumulate 1,500 volume points at 42% discount, because guess what? They've done 1,000 here and they've done 1,500 here. Look, that could be a success builder order, or it could be order by order at the month, but at the end of that month, they're going to be a permanent 42% discount. They're on their second month of their 90-day plan. So again, that's their building stage. That's the second month of your 90-day plan for the building stage. And this is when you're starting to feel a bit of momentum and you're building up. So you're building up your momentum and consistency. And then in the third month, they're going to do 2,500 volume points. So they've really got some momentum. They're getting lots of reorders and new clients and upgrades and referrals, and all of that starting to happen. So they're going to do enough orders for their own personal use. They might have maybe added in some skin or some targeted nutrition, or even the H24. They've got their 10 clients that are reordering, and they've also got 5 brand new clients. So they've really got about 15 clients now, which is fantastic. They've accumulated 2,500 volume points in that month. Again, that could be order by order, or they might have ordered it all in one go, but it was at 42% anyway. So basically, the first 1,500 volume points would be at 42%, and then the last 1,000 volume points of that month will be at temporary 50%. If you're not sure what that means, basically, as soon as you know someone's up to that 4,000 and they're ordering more in the same month, you need to ring Herbalife so that they can put them at temporary 50%, okay? And if you're not sure, your upline or sponsor can help you with that. They're doing their 90-day plan. So the third month of your 90-day plan is called the reaping stage. So this is where you reap the rewards of what you start at day 1, and you're really getting some momentum going, of course. But of course, it's 90 days of consistent effort. And as soon as you finish one 90-day plan, I would recommend that you do a couple back-to-back, and that's when you'll get the best results. So basically, over 3 months, this person's actually accumulated 5,000 volume points, and which is more than what they needed to become a supervisor, which is great. And now they're at 50% profit. They've got a client base approaching 20 with a part-time income of between $1,500 and $3,000 a month. That's based on ultimate programs, but of course it could be any of the product range, from the skin to the sports range, targeted nutrition, and also the cellular nutrition programs too. So, so you would have done, you did supervisor in 3 months?
3 months. Yep.
So, so what did you do in your first month?
So in the first month, we did 750-ish volume points. Then in the second month, I think we were sitting at about 2,500 volume points. And then in the last month, without even realizing it at the time, it clicked across and I went, oh, okay, we've done over 4,000 and we hit 50% and didn't even realize it wasn't really, again, like all of us, or some of us, really have no idea what we were doing, but once it clicked onto that 50% and we got over our 4,000, it just went from there. Yep.
So just remember to show this example to someone, because you want to, yes, they can take 12 months, but if they could do it faster, you've got to give them those options so they at least know about it, and because you're going to get some people that want to go fast, so let them go if they need to go. So let's go on. So becoming a supervisor in 1 month, you accumulate 4,000 volume points in 1 calendar month with 1,000 unencumbered. So what that means is you can use some of the people underneath you that aren't supervisors, you can use some of their volume, but you at least have to do about 1,000 yourself under your own ID number. This is really important to know. So you've got to do some of the work. It can't all just come filtering up to you. So this is a really popular way with business builders, but there's a couple of new little things that have come into place. So did you want to go through those?
Yeah, so as a brand new member, on your first day you place an order. You yourself can't place any more than 1,100 volume points in your first personally purchased order. And then you also can only purchase 3,999 volume points in your first 10 days. All right. So
then the reason for this is because they want to protect the members and make sure they're locked into the products, that they're really, getting a result and they love the products before they move on to completing their supervisor qualification. So it's really in their best interest. And, the first 10 days, most people are really just finding their feet and learning about the products and working on their result anyway. Now, this is a really popular one. So I know, Jan, you went supervisor in 1 month. So how did that all come about?
Okay, initially I got 1,000 volume points for myself and the family and things like that. And we sort of ate that because I didn't have any customers then. And then I decided to get another 1,000 volume the following month. And then I got a couple of customers. So it made sense by the end of the month to do the rest of the volume. And I did the 4,000 in 1 month. And the following month I was at 50%. So I did the 1,000 volume, and of course this other 3,000 was done at 42%, which was really good. So it was good volume per dollar at that point of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And so how long had you been in the business when you decided to do that?
When I did that, I think I'd used the products probably about 2 and a bit months. And then the third month, that's when I did the 1,000 volume and then the 3,000.
And do you think the fact that Jennifer and Gary invited you to come and have a look at something really helped give you that confidence?
No, I hadn't gone into the office then. It was just the love of the products that made me sort of decide to do more volume, because I knew I was going to use the products forever at that point. And I had Michael on the products at the weight gain, so we're eating quite a lot of product at that point. Okay. And it just made sense. Mike was very good, my husband, very good at numbers, and he worked it all out and he said, that's a good deal. So that's what we did. We got the 3,000 at the 42%, and it took me a while to turn that over, and then I began to get more customers. And then after that, that's when Jennifer eventually got me into the office, I think after about the 6th call.
So persistence pays off again. Thank you, Jan. That's a great story. Irene, are you there?
I am, yes.
So you did supervisor in 1 month. So tell me how that all came about.
Well, we were customers first, and Conrad, when he lost his job in the recession, he needed something. He wanted to buy a business, and quite frankly, I wasn't so keen on what he was looking at. And eventually, I persuaded him to look at the business side of Herbalife. And when he looked at it, he said, well, I know the products work because we've been using the products. And he'd lost weight and I'd lost weight. And he said, well, I'm not going to work at 25% because that's what I was at the time. Why would I work for $25 an hour when I can earn $50 an hour? So he saw the potential from a business point of view, and we invested in it. We bought 4,000 volume points on our own, and we felt, well, we know, if this doesn't work, we can eat ourselves out of business. And it was absolutely the best thing because it changed our lives forever. And we've been in business now for 29 years.
Wow.
And it's just been, it's beyond what you could imagine. If you had said to me, this is the life you will have, I would have thought, not somebody like me. And it's just amazing. It's wonderful. And I'm very grateful to Herbalife and to the friends that I've made in Herbalife. That's part of it. It's not just herbal products, it's Herbalife. And and the life side of Herbalife is as extraordinary as the products themselves.
Excellent. Thank you, Irene. That's a fantastic story. Jennifer, thank you for being on the call. How did you go supervisor? I'm assuming you did it in 1 month. It sounds like something you and Gary would do. So
it's hard for me to remember that far back because we were both so enthusiastic all the time. Actually, I think that we did play around with it, for a couple of months because we weren't really sure what we were doing, but we certainly did accumulate volume, and we would have done it over 2 months for sure. But I don't remember, to be perfectly honest. It was so long ago. But what we did have, we just had total excitement and stuff. So I'm sorry about that. Some people are really good about the stuff, but I don't remember exactly. All I know is that we're working at it every day.
That's good. Well, that's right. You just went to work pretty much, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So thank you, Jennifer. I'll just go on to the next one. So this is a 1 month qualification, but a team of 2 supervisors. So these are really exciting ways of going supervisor, doing it in a team too. So some people on the call that have done this. So let's just go through. So let's say you've got Alison and Peter. So normally what do you have to do? You have to do 4,000 volume points yourself. And anyone that's not a supervisor underneath you, their volume flows up in 1 month to go supervisor. But when you actually share it in a team system, you've got Alison and Peter. So look, it doesn't have to be exactly like this, but just say, for this example, they share it and they do 2,500 volume points each in 1 calendar month to make a total of 5,000 volume points, okay? So there's a couple of things. They need to do 1,000 volume points unencumbered. You've heard this a few times, which means they've at least got to do 1,000 volume points themselves under their own ID number for the month. Okay, which does mean that Alison could do 1,000 and Peter could do 4, or Alison could do 4,000 and Peter could do 1. So it can work that way. I hope I said that right. As long as between them they've done their 5,000. So I'm just going to show you how the paperwork looks when you put it into the warehouse. Whoops, did I do that? Right. So basically you can see the supervisor application that you'll fill out will show 4,000 on the bottom and 1,000 at the top, which is the unencumbered, as long as it's 5,000. So instead of having to do 8,000 in total for 2 people to go supervisor a month, it's only 5. So it's such a great way. But you just need to make sure that Alison and Peter know each other. That's the most important thing. So that's a really exciting way of going supervisor, but there's more. 1 month team of 3. So it doesn't have to be just between 2 people, go to 3 or 4 or 5. So I know, Rosemary, you did a team of 2. So how did that come about?
26 years ago, I was encouraged by Judith Talbot, actually, who was our Get Team member, and my best friend. She invited me to a meeting first up, and then Mark Hughes was coming to Brisbane. So we were encouraged to become supervisors, which is what we were doing. But we, trusted the person who encouraged us to do that. And it was the best decision. So we did 2,500 volume each, Loretta and I, and we went straight up to supervisor and attended the supervisor workshop here in Brisbane when Mark Hughes came to Australia, and I never looked back. Just loved the the company, love the people involved, and love the products. Yeah, fabulous.
Thank you, Rosemary. That's fantastic. Lindy, you did the same thing, line or two. How did that come about?
Well, I actually wanted to go up on my own, and then my friend didn't want to be left behind. So that's how it happened. And I was all ready to do the volume points all by myself, and then Jill said, "Oh no! If we're going to do it, we do it together." So I went, "Oh, okay." And that, from a financial perspective, that worked out much better. Yeah, and a bit like Rosemary, it's going to all the meetings where you're meeting everybody else. That and nice to hear how everyone else gets to that point too. I had a lot of weight to lose at that time, so I went through the products fairly quickly myself, and I kept it just for me. I didn't do it for anybody else. I was a bit naughty.
How long did it take? Did Jill invite you, or did you invite Jill?
She invited herself. So, yeah, no, we live next door to each other. So,
so how long did it take for her to get you to even think about doing Herbalife?
Oh, me, about a year. I wouldn't have a bar of it. I hadn't heard of it. So what was I going to start something that I, didn't even see around in the streets? Now you walk around, you see people with T-shirts and paraphernalia, but 13 years ago, I didn't really see that very much. So, yeah, she hassled me every day, and that's how it started.
Oh, and what happened to you on the products?
I lost 24 kilos in 20 weeks and lost 3 dress sizes, and I've actually had a bit of a shift now that I'm doing extra exercise and I've got the energy, so I'm losing more weight and the centimetres are just falling off at the moment. It's wonderful. I don't even question. The shakes and the supplements and everything are out in view, and that's just our life, and I like it. Wouldn't have it any other way. I don't know how I didn't notice anything before, but you do have your blinders on for a while when you're preoccupied.
Sure. Well, it's definitely changed your life, and it's a great way of going with someone that you know and sharing the volume. So you can do it. So you can do it with 2 people, 3 people, and basically as many people as you like in a line. I know. I think Scott Conlon, who's a President's Team member in Toowoomba, I think he said it was about 32 people. Would that be correct?
Yeah, that's what he said when went to 32.
So and that was all family members. They all knew each other. They weren't all just stacked on top of each other or underneath each other. They actually all knew. It was a family that did it all together, and they all divided the volume up between them as long as they all did a minimum of 1,000 unencumbered under their ID number. So
the biggest discussion was who was going to go where on the paperwork. I think that took the longest time, of who was going to be placed where. So.
That's right. And the good thing about it is supervisors never miss out. So and in that family situation, it benefited everyone. So I'll just show you one more example. So again, this way we've divided it equally, but again, as long as one person at least each person does 1,000 unencumbered, it doesn't really matter how the volume is divided up, because some people will do more and some people do less, and that's okay. But if they all know each other and they've made that business decision, whether they're doing success build orders or they're ordering it all in one go, that's fine too. Generally, they'll probably start on a program to begin with and work on their results, and then make that decision to go after that, because of course their product result and how they feel about the products is really important. So this is how the paperwork will show through that you send through to the warehouse. The 1,000 unencumbered up the top and 4,000 on the bottom, and that's 6,000. So again, instead of doing 12,000 for 3 people to go supervisor in a month, they're only having to do it on 6. So these are really great options to know about, and you need to let your team members know, because sometimes they'll never ever know. Okay, I think this is the 2-month one. Okay, so this is how I went supervisor, and obviously Jennifer and Gary went supervisor on the same. So when I first got started, I was really shy. I actually really didn't know what I was doing. I think we got 35% in the first couple of months, but Merv kind of helped with all that, and I really didn't know what I was doing. We qualified for something, but everything kind of went over my head. So it took about 12 months, and I'm sure most people probably thought, because I was so shy and quiet, that I was never going to do anything, I'm sure. But after about 12 months, I kind of started to get it, and I'd get a little bit of momentum, and I'd been doing a little bit of extra volume and more volume each month. And most of my volume came from flyers, because I'd moved to Adelaide from Mildura to study. I didn't really know a lot of people, and I was too shy to talk to people I knew anyway. So I just started doing flyers, and that's how I got most of my retail clients, and then some of them signed up, and then so it was kind of retail and wholesale, and over that 2 months I became a supervisor. Okay, and then I've been a supervisor since, and I haven't I've done my, because you requalify once every year, which is quite easy to do. Most people do that in 1 month without even thinking about it, and I've done that every year or every month even for the last 28 years. So that's a really good one. Again, I can use some of my team and like that aren't supervisors as long as I'm doing that 1,000 unencumbered. But if you're using the product seriously, you know, it's not too hard to eat a fair bit of product, right? If you're doing it. So the next way, this is Jennifer's favourite way, and I must admit this is probably mine. So there's a 2 month qualification of, I'm going to show 2 examples of 2 coaches and 3, and this, I know Jennifer gets really excited about this one, so let's just go through it. So I've got Bruce and Mary, and in their very first month, or not first month, but it can be any time that they want to do this. So they both do 1,000 volume points each in June. So that's 2,000 volume points in total, as long as they're doing 1,000 unencumbered, remember. Then in July, Bruce does 2,000 and Mary does 1,500. Could they do 1,500 each? Absolutely. It doesn't matter how it places, as long as they're doing that 1,000 under their own ID number each month. So basically in June and July, it's a total of 5,000 volume points. This is how it's going to look on the paperwork. It's going to show 4,000 on the bottom, 1,000 on the top, and so over 2 months. So this is great for people that are going part-time. They've done 5,000 volume points in total, and both of them will become a supervisor over that 2 months. So this is really, really exciting, but I want to show you one more, which I just love this. This is 2 months, and I know this is one Jennifer loves. So if you have a look at this, oops. Okay, so you've got in January, Jack does 1,000, Jill does, I didn't do the names, just so you know, and Noddy does 1,000. So they all do 1,000 each. So they're doing the 1,000 unencumbered. They can do it order by order throughout the month, or could they do a success builder order each and get it at 42%? Yep. And then they do it again in February. So basically all they've got to do is 1,000 volume points in 1 month, and then 1,000 volume points the next month in a line of 3. So it looks like this at the warehouse. Buttons do I have to push? So it shows basically over 2 months, 6,000 volume points, 4,000 at the bottom and 1,000. That's what the paperwork shows. So basically over 2 months, all they've got to do is 1,000 volume points each month. Use a bit of product themselves, get a couple of clients or family members and friends on it, maybe even a little bit of inventory stock, upgrade onto some skin and sports range over the 2 months, and that line of 3 people that will all know each other can go supervisor together. So this is really, really exciting. I know, Jennifer, this is the one you love, right?
We like anyone that we're working and they get the message and they keep adding people, more and more and more people. Just remember, it's just 1,000 volume points extra for each person.
Yes, I want you to really think about this. Yes, so it can go down, yes, 1,000, just add 1,000 to every other person as deep as you like. But this is kind of a fairly realistic way of going supervisor for someone that's, you know, they're on the go, they're excited, they're talking to their friends and family, and you can see, and look, it might not be in their very first 2 months of their business, it might be 6 months, or like me, 12 months, and that's okay too. So whenever they're ready and they've got that momentum going, you just need to make sure you show people so they're aware of this, so they don't come back to you and go, why didn't you show me that? I would have liked to have done that. I'm sure you're probably the sort of person that.
Absolutely.
And you didn't know about this.
I had no idea about this when I first started, and I know that, like I said, in that first order, it was already 750 volume, and if someone had told me I could have done a 42% volume on my first day on my first order, I absolutely would have.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's a good point. Make sure you always let people know. So this is so exciting. So I really want you to grasp this, even if you've written it out on your circles. All you need to do is 3 circles and another 3 over that 2 months, and think, whose names could I put in there? Who do I know that would be interested, or who could I actually tell about this? And, you know, and you can do your own little mini marketing plan sessions with your group, and even your clients that are signing up to get the discount, and just let them know. Okay.
And Shelley, if they just look at it like a mathematical equation, it's so simple. They have to say, I've got to have these circles, they all represent a person, but the person on the bottom's got to appear to have 4,000. So that all the others have got to have a 1,000 next to them. So then maybe we can divide the amount. But if they can just see it like a kitty pattern, that the circles mean the person on the bottom's got to have 4, all the ones on the top have 1, and from there, they'll eventually get it. Put a name next to each circle.
Absolutely. And I know that you was, when you came up and to our training in May, was that this month? This month, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was this, it was like such a long time ago. You were just saying that even if someone just did so much volume point each day themselves and had that goal, that if they had a goal of so much volume, they could actually get to supervisor in that month, just having a daily volume goal.
Yeah, and I've forgotten what it was, but it's just over 100 volume points a day, 100 and something, whatever it was, 140 volume points. So, if people went out for a customer a day or more customers a day, but if you were selling them just one Formula One, firstly, you've got the customers. So if you were able to go out and sell, to 5 people, one Formula One, then it's pretty easy then to upgrade them to some extra product. So if you upgrade, to some skincare, they like their Formula One they started with, they can afford that, they get a chance to talk to them, then they look at something else and say, hey, Dom Quiet would be great for me, or something else would be great for me. Each of those 5 customers that you started with a minimal product, you can upgrade them to another product. So when you look at it like that, it won't take you long to start thinking of how to do something like 140 volume points a day. Give or take the figures, work it out. But basically, over a month, you've got 4,000 volume points. So just think of everybody as buying, get everybody on one Formula One. That's easy enough to do in terms of people don't feel that they're overcommitted. They can see they get a lot of shakes out of that, and especially if they've got kids, and then you can get them to repeat their story to family and friends, and then each person that you get, then upgrade them to something else, and they're more likely to upgrade when they like their first product.
Absolutely. And I think, people become more receptive to the skin and the sports range as well, and the aloe products. You can give samples. I know this group, especially Jan and Jennifer and Rosemary and Lindy, and everyone is very, and Irene is really strong on samples and things like that. And it does work, giving samples or a gift when they order or give you a referral, something they haven't used before. Often they will continue to use it. So, I think it's great just to keep thinking outside the box and just keep sharing and exposing people to what you've got available. Can we just check and see who's on the call so I can make sure I haven't missed anyone? Steve and Fishy. That's okay. That's cool. We'll continue on. Okay, so basically, why would someone want to become a supervisor? And we're always taught that supervisors never miss out on money. It actually opens up the whole marketing plan. You're maximising all areas of income, 50% retail profit, 8 to 25% wholesale profit, royalties of 5% on your 3 levels as you build your team of supervisors. You're obviously setting a good example. I was looking for that health coaches to change. I just couldn't see it.
Awesome.
I'm going to change that. So, setting the best example. You're qualifying for special supervisor schools, and obviously the vacations and the extravaganzas are for supervisors as well. So there's all these different reasons of why you want to become a supervisor. And as you would know, like Jennifer being Chairman's Club, and Irene and Jan being Millionaire Team, they're still supervisors. Okay, they're still supervisors, but they're adding in those extra bonuses. So let's just go on to the next thing. So this is about building your Herbalife house. So once you're a supervisor and you want to get your full royalty, you want to start mastering that 2,500 volume points every single month to pick up your full royalty check. Because most people don't know that if they're not doing their 2,500 volume points or more, because most people do more once they've got that momentum and they're building. If they're only doing 500 volume points a month, which that would just be personal use as far as I'm concerned, they're going to pick up a 1% royalty. 1,500 volume points is a 3% royalty, and 2,500 obviously is your full 5% royalty. So you want to show people how to build this. So I'm just going to give you an example of what that looks like. So the foundation down the bottom here of your house is your personal use. You want to be your best customer. And look, most of us use more than 200 volume points, but I'm just giving an example of maybe someone just getting started that might be on an ultimate program or a program with some targeted products. That's your personal use. So you want to set the best example. Then you want to be having your new clients happening every month. So that's just basically letting people know what you're doing. You might be going out and doing flyers, or there's whatever you're doing to attract clients. I know Cara just did a post on Facebook, and she's had a whole bunch of people see what she's doing, and then obviously they've been contacting her, and some of the people she's seeing on her own, and other people she's using us to help her, which is fantastic. And we've also been doing the same with Trish and anyone really. And I know Gary always said to me, work with the people that deserve it, not the people that need it. And Jim Rohn always says, basically 80% of your attention is going to go to about 20% of your people, which is your builders. So to really know that who's going and who's moving that needs that time and attention. Okay, and whoever needs help, we're always there basically. So that's your new clients. So 600 volume points for new clients or more. What did I just do? I didn't know I could do that.
You can do that.
So then you've also got your repeat clients. Of course, people are getting great results. They're going to want to continue to repeat at retail until you're ready to upgrade them. Now, some people, as we know, we've heard lots of people on the call say they've still got retail clients that will never want to become a member, and that's perfectly fine. So they're those ones that are going to always continually order through you at retail. But of course, then you also want to sign people up that are wanting that maybe higher discount, or they want to earn a little bit of extra income or enough income to pay for their products, whatever it might be. You want to be signing people up as well. So that can be 600. So that's basically giving you a pretty good amount of volume. That's 1,800, so about 2,000. So the rest of the 2,500 would come from basically upgrading your clients, asking for referrals, making sure you let people know about the skin, the H24, the other personal care products and targeted nutrition. And the best way to do that is to use it yourself, and because people will always do what you do. So that basically gives you kind of an example of what 2,500 volume points looks like. Did you want to add something?
The only thing I wanted to add onto that, so that the person that's brand new at the moment that goes, oh, how am I going to do that? Remembering you're not doing this in your first day, and you're not doing necessarily this in your first month. You have started, you've used the product, you've got used to the product, you're sharing your result, you're finding new people, and this could be happening over your timeline, but it could be happening over that 90 days, that process. So people don't say, oh, how am I going to do that? Because sometimes all the numbers can feel that's way too many, but you remember it's a progress. It's a process of getting a new client, getting repeat customers. Those repeat customers have turned into new members, and you're just continuing that process on a regular basis.
So like in my case, it took me over 12 months before I was doing this consistently, and that's okay. So you've just got to show people the options, help them do it to whatever level. So if someone's not wanting to do this, that's okay. Just help them get to wherever they want to be. So you've got to know what they want. And that's why doing their goals with them is the best way of working out what people want, so you can help them accordingly. So, of course, once you start signing people up, to get to that 2,500 volume points to 10,000 volume points every single month is helping other people to get to supervisor, because, of course, they're going to want to get to supervisor. It's the best place to be. So some people are going to accumulate their way, and some people are going to do success builder orders, qualified producer. Some will do their supervisor over 1 or 2 months, or in a team method. And this is when you'll start adding that extra 5 to 10,000 volume points on top of your existing business to get there. So I think my highest volume was 10,600 I did in 1 month, and that was a line of 2 or 3 supervisors in that month. Irene, what was your highest volume?
19,000.
19,000 in 1 month. Lindy?
Boy, offhand, sorry.
That's okay.
I'm blank there, sorry.
That's cool. Rosemary?
Yeah, a little over 10,000.
She's over 10,000. Jennifer?
I can't remember either. We did so many big ones.
53,000.
Yeah, Jan will always remember the figures. All I know is that we always did very well all the time, and it was just, in the end, it sounds blasé, but we just kept doing it. We just always fought till the last day of the month, and it was like, oh, good, pass. Did that one. Okay, pass. Next one.
So the highest month was about 50, just over 50,000, I think.
but it was over 50,000 in 1 month.
Thank you,
They
Jan.
continually did, 10 to 20 to 30,000 every single month.
Excellent. And what was yours, Jan?
The highest was 32.5.
32.5. And Steve, what was yours?
I'm not quite sure. I think the highest was about 2.5.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So, as you can see, there's a fairly big array of things, but I don't want you to get like, oh my goodness, how am I ever going to do 50,000? I don't want you to worry about that, but I want you to think, is it typical? No. Is it possible? Yes. So if you're in a business builder and you're in building mode and you're recruiting and you're helping people to become supervisors, that's when those volumes start to happen, and that's okay too. And it doesn't matter where you put, remember, Herbalife's like a big apple pie. If you want some part-time income, you choose a smaller slice. If you want that, carving out that financial future and that royalty income, you just take a bigger slice. So it's perfectly fine. Everyone fits in somewhere, but I want to give you some possibility thinking as well, because you never know who you're talking to. And if you've got that person that just wants to go, you need to let them go and achieve whatever they're going to achieve. So that's your Herbalife house. So becoming a World Team member. So we know that we've got the World Team training coming up in September. So the World Team retreat in Sydney and Manly. So you need to become a World Team member. So is there one more month qualification? There is. They can still do it in 1 month.
They can still. You can become a World Team. You could. You would have to qualify yourself to a supervisor.
Yep.
You'd have to be a supervisor. And within the World Team promotion, you obviously, the 2.5 over 4 months it's not virtually possible now, because you would have already had to be the supervisor. So you could become a supervisor in this particular month, and then somewhere between now and the end of August, you could do a 10,000 volume point month, and that could allow you to easily go to the World Team in September.
And the best way to do that is through recruiting and helping other people get to supervisor as well. So to become a World Team member, you need to do one of these qualifications, 10,000 volume points in 1 month, obviously with 1,000 unencumbered, 2,500 volume points over 4 months, 4 months in a row consecutively, or 500 royalty point check, which is 10,000 volume points under your supervisor. So you need supervisors to do that as well. So that's always the goal. And you can become a World Team member in your first month, just in case someone wants to know this. Again, is it typical? No, but is it possible? Yes. So you could actually do your 4,000 as your supervisor, and then you could do another 10,000 on top of that. And obviously that team method is often where that happens. Just be aware that someone can, if they really, really wanted to, and we've heard so many stories that if they wanted to go supervisor and World Team in their first month, it is possible, okay? And we can always write that on paper and show them how that works if they wanted to do that. Okay, so I hope that helps. Okay, active World Team. So this is a really great level in the company. And what it means is that you're mastering all the different things that the business offers. You're retailing, using the products personally, recruiting, and then teaching other people to do the same thing, that duplication. You're really mastering all those things. But you've got to do all of these things in a 6-month consecutive period. So basically you can do your 4 months of 2,500 volume points in a row, which will get you to World Team, a 10,000 volume point month, and I think they actually have a 5 and a 5 now. Is this correct? Sorry, I should have written that in. Oh, here we go.
You do.
I did write it down. Helps if I read my slides. 5,000 volume points in any 2 consecutive months, just to make that a little bit easier, and of course the 500 royalty point checks.
Can I just correct you there?
Yes.
The 5,000 volume points does not have to be consecutive.
Oh, sorry,
it's
you're right.
anywhere within a 6-month block. So you have to do your 2,500. You have to do a 5,000. You could do 5,000 in your first month. You could be still doing. You have to be then doing your 2.5, and you could do your 5,000 in your 6th month to cover that qualification. They do not have to be 5 and 5, one on top of the other, but they have to be within. The whole lot has to be within a 6-month block.
Thank you. And how good is that? Because that 10,000 can sometimes be a little, can be a challenge sometimes to get, but to be able to just do a 5,000 in 2 months of that in any 6-month period, well, that's achievable. Okay, so this is what you get by becoming an active World Team member, just in case you're going.
Before we go any further, can we just go back one step? To become a World Team member, you can actually achieve World Team without having a single supervisor. You could just have all members on 25, 35 or 42% and haven't yet got any of your people to get up to 50%. But to become an active World Team, you have to achieve the 500 royalty. And to do that, you need to have supervisors, that your supervisors, total supervisors you have, whether you've got one or whether you've got 20 supervisors, their total volume points of supervisors has to give you 10,000 volume points. That's the two major differences between those two levels.
Okay.
Sorry, anyway, go on.
No, that's good. That's a good point. Thank you. So what do you get by becoming an Active World team member? You're going to get the Rising Star experience, which you get airfares and accommodation and flown to an event in Australia generally. And you just get treated like royalty. So picked up from your home, take it to the airport, accommodation, meals, get to speak and tell your story at that event. Generally, it's an STS or something like that. You get an Active World Team pin and certificate. You get on-stage recognition, generally at the next major event, including the Spectacular. You get a one-off US $500 bonus paid into your account. And it's basically showing that you've developed those three essential skills of retail, recruiting, and retaining. And they say that over 90% of Active World Team requalify supervisors, and I think it's 40% of Active World Team become Get team members. And really, when you think about it, if you just focus on achieving Active World Team yourself and then helping others achieve Active World Team, you can pretty much achieve any level in the company. If you really just want to simplify it, just teach people how to do this. And it's probably a very good focus so that you're not thinking, how am I going to learn all the other things, which we're going to go through now. So how do I get to Get Team? How do I get to Millionaire Team? And how do I get to President's Team? So obviously we've got Jennifer on the call. She's Chairman's Club. So that's like President's Team 5 times, which is really cool. And we've got Irene and Con and Jan as Millionaire Team members as well. So I just want to show, this is a very basic way of thinking how to do it. So a global expansion team income's around $4,400 a month. Millionaire teams around that $15,000 a month. And then President's Team members and above is around that $75,000 and upwards per month. And again, is this typical? No, but is it possible? Absolutely. And all you really need to think about it is this way. To become a Get Team member, all you really need to do is help 2 people achieve Active World Team each month for 3 consecutive months. That seems achievable when you put it down like that, right? Become Millionaire Team, help 8 people become Active World Team each month for 3 months. And then to become a President's Team member, help 20 people achieve Active World Team each month for 3 months. So if you think of it like that, that's kind of a fairly achievable goal in numbers. Are you going to have to recruit more than 2 people to do that? Yes. You need to think that not everyone's going to want that, but you need to find, out of all the people that you're recruiting, that you're helping them find those people that want to go to that next step and become a leader and become a builder, okay, and want that residual income. So this is in your first 3 levels as well. So I just kind of wanted to put it in a bit more of a simpler form and to make it feel more achievable. So Jennifer, did you have anything to add to this?
No, you're doing fine.
Thank you. So I just wanted to really just simplify it right back to basics, because the Active World Team, and it's the year of the Rising Star, we really want you to think about Active World Team for yourselves and for ourselves, and also to help other people achieve that too. And you can achieve any of these things, which is really cool. I'm not quite sure what's next. Okay, so let's just finish off with our promotions. Obviously, we've got the STSs coming up this weekend in most of the states around Australia. So if you're not sure where your local STS is, just go to their website or Facebook page or call Herbalife and they'll let you know, or contact your sponsor. I know the one in Brisbane has got Ali Shahata, Millionaire Team member from Melbourne. She was a nurse. She's had twins. She did some body sculpting, so she looks pretty amazing. And she's coming up to share how she's built her business and now how she works it around her family, her young toddlers, and obviously how she's used the products too to get an amazing shape. So that's at Sunpack in Brisbane. The one at Sydney, has someone got the details for that one?
I can't pronounce his name, but it's a Korean couple, and they're correct me if I'm wrong, I think they both get 2.5, and they're just amazing. And 90% of the time, there's always a young girl up there who's interpreting, and he's got a brilliant singer, and she's very quiet, but they've done really well, and they've gone really quick, very quickly. in the business. So, and still cruising along there. Wonderful, wonderful, lovely people.
Excellent. So who do you know in Sydney? Who do you know around Australia? Plus STSs happen all around the world. So if you've got international contacts, who do you know? Who do you know? That's fantastic. We've also got the extravaganza coming up in Hong Kong on June the 21st to the 23rd.
Something like that.
Yep.
So that's really exciting. Got a whole bunch of speakers and that. I've got all the details on Challenge Yourself Daily, plus it's on the Masterblast from Herbalife as well. And you can go on to myherbalife.com.au to get all the flyers and qualifications for that. It is sold out, so you would have need to have bought a ticket for that. Jennifer, I know you're going to be in Taiwan, so did you want to maybe talk about that?
Oh, yes. Just get my diary. I'm going to Taiwan a few days before Hong Kong. And so we're just going to do an event with the team over there. But if you guys have got anyone, I have an address here that's in Chinese. I think they're sending it to me in English as well. I'm just getting the date so I can tell you when I arrive over there. And sorry, looking at the wrong months. I've had a big day today. I met, we had the Herbalife new manager here today as well.
Yes, I saw that photo.
Australia, pretty early. And so we've got 2 days meetings tomorrow. And I went to bed at 3:30 this morning. So I'm slow at finding things here at the minute. I'm almost there. Hang on. Okay. So I'm going to arrive in Taiwan on Sunday, the 16th of June. And so I will let everybody know exactly, but if you know if I'm going to be in Taiwan the 16th, and then I don't leave till the Wednesday afternoon. So we're going to try to organise a couple of events. I think one's going to be on that Sunday night, and you know, and something, you know, something else during the week, and then I go on to Hong Kong. So if you do say, you know, who do you know, who do you know, who do you know, you know, and it'll be in the heart of Taipei, in so then we can just get an address to you to there. So, incidentally, just while I'm talking, the Sunshine Butterflies apparently put out that they'd like people to bring art materials to the STS on Saturday. I did actually try and find out if they would like specific art materials, because sometimes I think it's better if you know exactly what they want.
Yeah.
I haven't heard back from Elizabeth about that, but nevertheless, so if anyone's got any, wants to donate anything, you know, from crayons, pencils, or I think often acrylic paints are really good, you know, for those, even if you get one large bottle of one colour or whatever, you know. So anyway, that's up to you guys.
I definitely have lots of stuff I can bring, so I'll have a look through for sure. So thank you, Jennifer. That's fantastic. So who do you know in Taiwan? Who do you know in Taipei? It's a great way to build international business. So we're so lucky that you're going, and thank you for letting us know about it. So we also have the World Team Retreat in September, so make sure you download that flyer. So that's for World Team members, and there's still possibilities. If you're brand new, you can still qualify by doing that 10,000 volume points in 1 month, or a 500 royalty check. It does take a bit of work, yes, but it's definitely possible. So we just need to, you know, anyone that's really keen on going, help them to do that if that's what they want. But you've still got to let people know. And I think that's everything.
No, that should be it.
Oh, have I missed any other events? Can anyone?
No, that's fine, Shirley.
Excellent. So I hope everyone had a lovely Mother's Day, all the mums on the group. So we obviously took the girls to SeaWorld and had a great weekend. That was pretty full on. It didn't stop. But we took all our products with us and even made shakes and took them into SeaWorld. And yeah, it was really great. And I did get a few business cards out here and there. I did a little bit of walking and talking, even though I was definitely fully present with the girls. But if there was opportunity presented itself, like the lady that got the girls their wetsuits for the dolphin experience, she was so nice and so helpful. I really liked her, so I gave her a card, because you just never know. Always looking for nice people, aren't we? That's always a good quality. So that is our call for tonight. So this is a really powerful training, and a good one to be sharing. So I will convert it, put it on a YouTube link. I'll put the link on in the comments section of this post. But make sure you share it with people as well. It's a really powerful call for people to listen to, so they know that next step when they're starting to build along. So thank you everyone for sharing how you all went supervisor. That's fantastic. I love hearing how you got into the business, and appreciate your knowledge and experience as well. We're so lucky to have this mastermind group. Next week we're going to do it's going to be all on customer care and follow-up and troubleshooting. So really how to look after that customer, how to help them get the best results, any little tips and things like that. So we'll get everyone to share how they follow up their customers, maybe some questions and objections that come up and the best ways to handle that, because it's great when you get the perfect client, but what happens when you get having a few issues and a bit of a bumpy start? How do you get them through that? So that will be next week's call. So I'm going to stop sharing just so we can see everybody, see all your beautiful faces. There you all are. Thank you for being on the call. I know Lindy had to go, but thank you, Lindy, for sharing. And have a wonderful week, everyone. I'll see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye from Chaos too, if you can see him. He's asleep down here. He's been snoring away. No, he comes up and he whimpers away and whimpers away, and I have to try and, if you see me smiling, he just, he starts taking my hand and patting me, and so pay me attention. So.
I didn't hear him tonight. I normally hear him, and we didn't see Jan's cat tonight. I'm a bit disappointed.
I know we need to see the cats.
We can't bring ours inside because they would just go crazy.
They would.
I'll have to put my little Stimpy up. He's got no eyes, so he's like this, so sad, but cute anyway.
Thank you for all your time, everyone. Thank you, Trish, for being on the call during your work time as well. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful week.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you, Shelley, for all your work.
Yes.
You're welcome.
And Ross, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Ross. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have a
Good
good
night.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.